So we
and
finally have two regions in the entire world that start as demilitarized.
That's right, yeah. So you can double up on your news events, so you get the Turkey remilitarizes Turkish straits, and then you get your German remilitarizes the Rhineland. You get
Exactly.
those firing all at the same time. And all the former Entente powers are just going, oh no, what's happening? All the people we beat are suddenly remilitarizing all this stuff.
Strangers from distant lands, friends of old, you have been summoned here to answer the threat of the Axis and commies. The Earth stands on the brink of destruction. No one can escape it. You will unite or you will fall. But I'm getting slightly ahead of myself right now. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the first ever Battle for the Bosporus stream. I'm here, Daniel, united by...
Hey, g'day folks. I'm Busby. I'm the outsourcer who had the privilege of making the Turkish and Greek trees.
Before we press on pause or anything like that, you know what I have to say. I think pretty much everyone knows what I gotta say right now. Hot goddamn code. We know there are some issues in it. I'm gonna have to avoid things. If I remember correctly, Turkey only joined the Second World War in like 1945, a month or two before everything ended. So how did you reflect and research throughout the entire thing?
Well, Turkey was a complicated challenge because it was this country that joined really late in the war, but even more than that, it's actually a very new country. The Turkish Republic was only really born around 1922 from the collapse of the bloated corpse of the Ottoman Empire, the victorious Entente. Yeah, sick man of Europe, exactly. So the victorious Entente tried to impose one of their trademark punishing treaties. They carved up Asia Minor into all these other little microstates, and Turkey itself was turned into this little rump Ottoman state. The Turkish people, they were not happy with it, not at all. So
Yeah,
a group of revolutionaries led by the charismatic, prolific, and messianic father of the Turks, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, and he led these revolutionaries to secure the modern borders of the modern Republic of Turkey.
Yeah,
so
and I just gotta say that this is probably the best leader in the entire game, times like 2. So we're still looking into maybe you should get a slight balance kick in his butt. And what's even better right now, and I'm just gonna straight out say this, right now, the events to make him sick is currently not working fully. Thanks, Busby. I promise, he just disabled them because he wants an immortal Mustafa Kemal Ataturk for the stream.
Yeah, chat, can we start yelling at Daniel? No cuts to the buffs. This is the father of the Turks here, alright? No debuffs, no. He goes in, best leader, has to be. I mean,
He's
this guy, come on, he
really
founded the country. It's like George Washington if he was still alive, but was also just great at everything.
Okay, so for today, since you might-ish be able to guess it, we're gonna go down the far right path. Oh, well, not far right as in fascist, but far right path in the tree itself, which is democracy. We're gonna reform the Balkans. We're gonna make a Balkan alliance to stand against the horribleness of communists and fascists. We're gonna unite, because split up, we are going to fall. But before we get down there, just a quick talk about the rest of the tree. Just some quick words from you. So we begin with this entire I guess initial focus tree almost. It's almost that large, but you have so many different options, so many mix and match to be able to get down and do the proper things later. How did you think about this?
Sure. So the early Turkish focus tree doesn't quite follow the traditional format, and that's because I really wanted to give the player a lot of choice. Because coming back to the youngness of the Turkish state, it felt really important that the player felt like they had an integral role in the nation building process of the nation state of Turkey. So it's not you're not creating fascist groups out of nowhere. They're not suddenly, you're not going to be cooed out by Nihal Atsiz and his pan-Turkics, right? It's all about readjusting what it means to be a Kemalist. So that doesn't necessarily mean Mustafa Kemal Ataturk is going to agree with these ideologies, but it means that the framework of Kemalism is being adjusted to the modern reality of Turkey. And this is something the Turkish state did while Ataturk was alive, right? The Second Congress of Erzurum, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, the Turkish state pivoted away from a liberal democratic, well, sorry, not democratic, but a liberal economic model to a more command economy based more along the lines of the Soviet Union, where the state had a lot more control over the economy and the economic processes of Turkey. So even though Ataturk was still devoted to the liberal model, the Turkish state was quick to adapt. You know, the Great Depression happened, the world was in crisis.
They did
and
come out of
Turkey
that relatively well, right?
They did. They came out of it really well. And that's because not only were they young, so their economic ties were quite new, they also had a lot of laws protecting them from foreign interference, unlike Greece, for example. So they were able to take quick control over their economy and shield themselves from the worst of the Depression, much like the Soviet Union as well. So
I love that I said a quick talk, and I see how you're so excited as this. I love that. I love that. It's like you put in so much work in trying to fix everything properly and let the player really base their nation on what their choices are. So I think they're gonna have tons of fun right here. But we only have 1 hour, so I'm gonna have to go forward a bit and just.
Sure, yeah.
So of course we needed some reference to the Ottoman Empire. There's no question about it.
Yes.
If you want to reform the Ottoman Empire, you can reform the Ottoman Empire. You can even do it with your old friends, or you can go against and just try to conquer everything yourself. But it is one of the slight bit harder paths, I think, to get started, since you can have issues with civil wars if you are not very careful.
Yeah, well, you're reversing the Kemalist model. You're effectively destroying the Republic of Turkey. So you're going from this country that you've helped build up and secure, and you're flipping it on its head. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of contention among the population in the country, it's going to hurt. You're going to lose a lot of good generals because a lot of the best generals are Kemalist champions.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's this kind of. Yeah, it's a little memey, but you know, it offers a lot of good routes for expansion. But you have to make that decision: is it worth it? Because it is going to definitely leave you rather vulnerable.
Yeah, like there is also like just a general feeling throughout the new trees for, well, actually I can mention Turkey, Bulgaria, and Greece. All of them are quite aggressive, even in their most peaceful and neutralistic paths. You have really. Both you and like Manuel have just, why should democracy mean peace? So you really like, I've noticed the aggressiveness in all three of these nations. But to continue with Turkey, we have the classic split. Be a bit more allied, be a bit more German.
Yes, and you can see that the faction. Sorry, I'm trying to point. Very new to this whole thing. You can see that the actual part where you join a faction comes rather later down in the foreign policy part of the tree, and that's so that you know, historically Turkey didn't join the war till 1945. That's something that's absolutely possible. That's quite easy to achieve. That Turkey will just keep gathering favors from all the different major factions well up to 1945, and then by the time the war is already game set match, Turkey can jump in and just clean up the remaining of the resistance with the victors.
Well, I wouldn't obviously clean up, but they might have a bit of a struggle right there.
but this is a war game, so a lot of the core gameplay comes from jumping into a war. So it had to be possible that you can take your favors from the different factions, but you can also just beeline straight for a faction, jump in the war right in the middle of it, and change the course, because that's Turkey's position. They are in a great position to, no matter how bad the war seems for either side, they can skew it one way or the other. Yeah, so even though they're a regional power, they are a very powerful regional power.
Very nice, very nice. Like, I think that's needed for them. They need to be able to do the very slow path of just straight into the faction, or just stay out of it. Basically let you guys play as whatever you want, however you want it. And if we look a bit more to the right, we also have the communist faction going right here, which is very, very involved with Turkey, since, well, you border them from the very beginning. So having a good friendship with them can be very, very necessary.
Yeah, and the Turkish path, the communist path actually has one of the few paths where you overthrow the Kemal system. I saw in the dev diary some people were asking about the actual Turkish Communist Party with Sefnik Husnu. That he can actually take control of the whole country right there and lift the Turkey Communist Party's exile. So that is something that can actually happen in the game.
But for this stream and for the remainder of, holy shit, 48 minutes, we are going to go down the continue to prioritize the Balkan integrity. We're going to try to create a Balkan faction and stand against the mighty powers of the Axis and Commies, and really try to unite the Balkans against the aggressive needs of the imperialist scum. Either they're communists, they're fascists, they are workers, we don't care. Balkans is for the Balkans. So we're going to begin with
Turkey. Yeah, sorry. Turkey always has the best interest of the Balkans at heart, right, guys?
Exactly.
Always.
So we're going to begin, like, to the far right here, we have the military focus. But if we want to get down to the really juicy stuff, I'm going to do a bit more quicker path and just really try to get down to uniting the Balkans as quickly as we can. So we can have the entire, Eldron joining up speak. No, we're not going to do it again. That's way too crazy. Okay, let's begin. So 70 days before we do this, we start with a couple of pretty harsh, like, negative natural spirits right here. Caramel officers, we have the sectarian vows, and we have dishonored armed forces. That's bad, but that's not it either. If we look at decision menu, we have, Kurdish rebels, we have religious rebels, and we have a small chunk of, Kemalist loyalties that grants various bonuses or negatives throughout the entire nation. And we're going to do a build where we try to interact with them as much as we bloody goddamn can. Since it's kind of harsh political power-wise. It's a lot of things that want political power in this path. So, like, we're going to be very careful and really think about how we want to spend each of these points. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and Turkey was, as it was a young nation, had quite a burgeoning industrial base. So you'll see you don't start with that many factories, but those Kemalist states, they have modifiers that increase construction speed. So even though you can build anywhere in the country, you're really encouraged to invest in your urbanized states, to build up your industrial base in places that historically already had a bit of an industrial base developing. So that's something I find kind of interesting. Oh, and you'll see grayed out is the option to release Kurdistan. So no, you can't just game the system and release Kurdistan right from the go. That's not something that's going to happen.
But one thing I am going to do, and how I usually play it right now, I go straight for military governance in all of these regions, but for that we're going to start lacking even more equipment than the one we've been doing from the very early beginning. So I've actually started doing this. So all cavalry divisions, 2 of them, delete those. And of course, all the, poor little non-trained or non-superior units, goodbye with you as well. So I end up with 24 divisions, exactly enough for 1 division. Let's assign some commanders right here. And we can see that both of these are, pretty much the entire top layer. All 4 of them are Kemalist champions. So would you lose all 4 of them if you went down the Ottoman path right there? So it's really, as you said earlier, they are the champions of Turkey. And just because I know this, and I'm probably going to be cursed just because, this is stream and absolutely nothing should happen, I am going to place my army there just in case. And if this happens, we are truly cursed. So what might happen when we do the entire convention right there? It's probably cursed.
Right. So with the Montreux Convention, so Turkey, it wasn't totally let off the hook for being a fighter in the First World War with the Central Powers. They imposed this thing called the convention. There was this thing called the regime of the straits, where Turkey didn't really have full control over its strait permissions. So this first event chain is all about remilitarizing these states and getting complete control over your country, which is something that happened historically in 1936.
So we finally have 2 regions in the entire world that start as demilitarized.
That's right, yeah. So you can double up on your news events, so you get the Turkey remilitarizes Turkish straits, and then you get your German remilitarizes the Rhineland. You get those firing all at the same time. And all the former Entente powers are just going, oh no, what's happening? All the people we beat are suddenly remilitarizing all this stuff.
Of course the British abandoned us, god damn it. But nothing has changed, we must stay this course, of course. And we won. Good. It usually happens.
Hey.
It usually happens. So don't be too surprised. But we won. Soviet Union backs down, and that's really, really great. So what we're gonna go in right here and do is just the silent workhorse. We need absolute power. We need it desperately. And there we go. Turkey remilitarized the Turkish straits.
Look at that. You go Inonu, Ataturk, Sakmak, the whole trio.
Yeah, and then to begin with, we have this nice split between fully integrate the bank, or we can continue the policy of Italy. So my plan is to make friends and secure our nation and make it as stable as possible. So we're gonna go down the right path right here, get some nice modifiers, and I'm gonna it is truly one of the best modifiers in the game. Additionally, so you have two of the best ones just straight off, but it has the little twist of you're not allowed to change mobilization law unless massive penalties. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, so Ataturkism is another one of those mechanisms that is very useful in helping you develop your small industrial base. It offers a lot of the benefits you might get from having partial mobilization, but without needing to spend the political power on partial mobilization. Issues do start to crop up when you start to take on a bit of a war economy, because then suddenly you've got these two very conflicting economic models running at the same time, and it can spiral out of control very quickly. So to a point, it will maybe become preferable to actually repeal the Ataturk economic model and just commit to a war economy instead of trying to juggle all these different plates at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So what does that require? More political power. So if you play Turkey, get your goddamn political power up and running. And be very, very, be careful how you spend it, and be sure that you spend it on the right thing. It might pop up stuff later in the future that you want to spend it on. So I try to keep at least 100 always ready. But sometimes, and I have played this as like a couple of times before, as you might have guessed. But I think it's gonna work out quite fine. So here, ratify the 6 arrows. This is a pretty big thing, and I don't know, a kind of half unique thing for Hearthstone. I've seen it done in like some areas here and there, but not to this real extent. So what is this?
Yes, so the 6 arrows, that was something ratified in 37, I think. These were the guiding principles of Kemalism. In Turkey being a one-party state, that means that the guiding principles of Kemalism were the guiding principles of Turkey. So those historically were, and let me see if I can get these all by memory, secularism, republicanism, nationalism, populism, what were the others?
Come on, you can do it. You have a couple more days.
God.
You have 35 more days.
35 more days. No, the pressure's getting to me. I can't quite remember the rest. But the 6 arrows is all about part of that process of your nation building. You're building the state. Oh, and Daniel's just highlighted Ismet Inonu, prime minister. So prime ministers are these powerful. Turkey had a bit of a dual executive system going on at the time. So you have these powerful ministers called prime ministers. But you can only have one at a time, and different political paths will unlock different prime ministers. So, you go down the Kemalism and the modern movement, you unlock Recep Pekka, who was a quite prominent Kemalist. You go down the, what was the other one? The Kemalist socialist theory, you unlock Aydemir. So there are more ministers that are actually hidden that you unlock that will become visible as you play through.
Yeah. So we should actually just mention here's the bonus right here, -7% consumer goods. I picked the financial expert to get additional -5. So even on our current, economic loss, civilian economy, we only have 23%, which isn't too bad. But I think people want to see Republicans, populists, naturalists, atheists, and reformers. So these are the temporary bonuses where you spend a sizable chunk of blue power, except maybe for Republicans, just for small temporary buff that might be super useful to unlock a couple things here and there. So but remember, like I've said constantly, spend your political power wisely. You don't want to get ghosts from that Indiana movie say you chose poorly, but usually it doesn't happen too much. So yeah, I wanted to secure my own nation and I wanted to make it as stable as possible. So I'm gonna go down right here, peace at home. That unlocks a couple decision to initiate counter-fundamentalist operations, and it also unlocks offer conscription exemptions to Kurdish groups, which also a path I'm going to go down right here. So now it's pretty much going to be, I need every single point of blue power forward for the longest time, really. I need to spend everything on decision and just secure up my map. It's going to be crazy, but I think it's going to work out. And in the meantime, we are going to have to accept people harassing us throughout our nation and, well, making them a bit more rebellious. We can take a quick look at what they actually do, like traditional opposition, minus factory states, recruit population, available resources, and local construction speed. All of them are, well, harassing us and slightly making it worse. And they can be at different stages, so they can be even more. And you can have even all the way up to Kurdish separatism. And let's see, Kurdish rebellion right here, massively increasing that goddamn resistant target. But since I have played this before and I'm kind of giving you small hints, go up high. Military governance, thank God for that.
Yeah, you go the historical route before. Yeah,
like
it's the head of time.
The earlier games, I was like, yeah, civilian economy is going to be fine. It shouldn't matter too much. And yeah, I was this close to getting rebellion and just kept harassing all my equipment and everything. So it was terrible. So here's one of the big infrastructure projects that's really, really good to just boost yourself up in the beginning. It also increases construction speed. Well, construction speed. Infrastructure construction speed, not construction speed, construction speed. And it also gives me just a plain out infrastructure upgrade in a lot of different states. So it's a great one to begin with. So after we're done this one, we're going to divert just slightly from our plan and try to harass and remove the current debt council. So what is this?
Yeah, so the debt council, yeah, well, the Ottoman Empire left lots of little gifts for the Turkish Republic after its collapse, and more than just a sort of uneducated religious population, it was also its tremendous bloated debt. Yeah, so it's not nearly as bad as it is for Greece, for example, because all the majors loved to bully Greece, and Greece couldn't really do anything about it. Whereas Turkey, everyone kind of wanted to be friends with Turkey, you know? So, yeah, you know, Turkey had its international obligations, which it wanted to keep to, but it wasn't going to cripple the Turkish economy because that wasn't in the interest of any of the controlling interests of the Turkish debt. So, but it is a bit of a... It's not something you necessarily want. You want to take control of it because it's something that is actually situated entirely in... It's based in France, right? So... It's like one of these last vestiges of Western imperialism that you just got to get rid of.
Yeah, of course.
And you can do that quite early in the tree too. So
yeah, but we went down just a slight bit to get that infrastructure bonus. I want to build up my industry a bit faster. So that's, I think, one of the biggest thing with this tree. You can do the same path in like 4 different ways here, and then you can do this path in, well, 1-2 different ways. And additionally to that, you have all the decisions in different ways if you want to focus on... Not like, for example, right now I'm gonna spend 120 blue power to remove just those resistances in one of these 4 states. Let's just spend that, and let's see here. So they right now, we don't have any penalties right there, but we do have a negative 85% conscription or recruit population right there. So yeah, that's a pretty bad penalty. But the bonus here, I don't have to have an occupied army right there. Well, it just needs to update and actually simulate, because now we have a core right here instead of being an occupied state.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the sort of a historical way of dealing with the coring the Kurdish states that's on the historical path. You know, it's not ideal. A lot of the paths you can get cores on Kurdish states without these, you know, big debuffs. But, you know, in Diyarbakir, for example, there's lots of really good natural resources you can extract from the state. So having these Kurdish debuffs, which actually reduces the amount of resources you can get, it's not going to be ideal. So this is just a real easy way that, yeah, you sacrifice the recruitable population. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but having a core on that state is much better. And because it's not resistance, yeah, it stops being a manpower sink as well. So exactly.
So it's a win-win situation either way, but it's also a lose-lose situation since, well, it's a bad thing and you have to spend something to remove another bad thing, which makes it not possible for me to pick something else I would love.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like that sums up the Turkish-Kurdish relation perfectly. So win-win, lose-lose.
So right now I'm going down another path, which is going to require me to, well, it gives us the effect that we can spend political power to gain investment opportunities from people around the world, to gain civilian and military factories. But guess what you need for that? Political power. So once again, we're opening up another path where we have to choose, do I want to spend it on this or do I want to spend it on that? You can't do everything, which is at the same time extremely frustrating. Like, you can't optimize this in a way where you can just pick everything. But at the same time, it does make it a whole lot more interesting of, what do I want to spend it on right now? Do I want to sacrifice manpower and equipment and let the Kurdish resistance just harass me all the time? Or am I going to try to beat that down, but then I'm not going to get these extra factories, potentially? So we can just scroll down right here and just very quickly, as you can see, there are a ton of decisions right now unlocking. Right now, I heard you said these were a bit too expensive and you're going to reduce them. But
yeah, so they cost a bit much at the moment. They're cheaper on the liberal path, and more expensive on the Ataturk. They may be a bit too much at the moment still.
Yeah, like they're supposed to be more expensive if you go down this path, but maybe not that much more expensive. So we're still making balance changes. So don't worry, guys. Nothing you see right here is 100% confirmed. It's gonna be this way till the very end.
Yeah, I see a question here about if I found it difficult to model such a complicated conflict as the Turkish-Kurdish one. We always want to be sensitive regarding these matters, and something that I found very challenging with Turkey is that a lot of the problems you're facing in this time period are things that are still prevalent in today. Even these issues with religion and state, and the status of Kurdistan inside of Turkey. So we wanted to be really careful how we addressed it all. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not an easy thing to discuss, but it would have been worse to just pretend like it wasn't a factor in Turkish society at the time at all. I mean, yeah. So it's all about compromise, being delicate with these situations, but without not shying away from the reality of the situation.
Yeah. So here's actually an interesting thing that in the clone chat brought up right now. Why don't I make a create agency and just try to repress the basic resistance with, the action, like suppress resistance with spy, because that's more investment opportunities. I need to spend some of my political power, I need to spend some of my civilian factories to do this, do that, which is something I'm always focusing on removing itself. If you want to, you can do it in another way. You can make these 4 states into cores in a more, I guess, peaceful way. You can make them comply more and then eventually get cores on it. But then that might be a much more tempting option, because then it's worth it to spend it and reduce the current resistance level. When I'm just going to remove it by spending political power, I think it's better to just let it be right there. I will take the damage I take until I have removed them fully. But since the other thing is going to probably be much more long term, it might be worth it to spend those 5 civilian factories to make the agency and then, repress the resistance. For me, I don't think it's worth it. But how about you do it when you play?
We're all about player choice. All about player choice.
So yeah, I'm just continuing. I'm spending more and more political power. Right now, I'm gonna spend 480 to just make sure we don't have the resistance right there. But I like having core states. I like be able to actually build everything wherever I want it. I'm doing it for the very, very long term. So right now, I think it's better to just get my cores right there and stop having the resistance popping up.
Ah, yes. Inank Vergisi. So this is one of those spirits that can change depending on the situation. Inank Vergisi is the kind of alt history faith tax that some country leaders will have available to them. But if you're playing other leaders like Izmit Inonu or Fevzi Sakmak, you'll get the traditional one, which is Valek Vergisi, which is a historical tax the Turkish government applied to non-Muslim citizens. Yeah, it was during wartime, not good, pretty anti-constitutional, actually. But that was repealed. All these taxes, they offer really powerful buffs, but that are just unsustainable in the long term, and that is by design. So with these taxes, you get the decision to repeal them right away.
We have 24 political power, so I'm going to add some support artillery, I'm going to add some support anti-air, and I'm going to add 1 more infantry, so we reach 20 right there. Right.
No.
I timed it slightly wrong. Ah, shit. I was kind of like, that's how you time it perfectly if you get the military theorist. And of course, I failed right there. Shit.
Hey, but you failed right on the same time as the Spanish Republicans. Can we get an F in the chat for the Spanish Republicans,
Oh,
please?
wow. That was like a very quick civil war. Holy shit.
Yeah,
It doesn't usually end in early January right there. Wow.
Yeah, they were quick on the ball.
Anyway, so how about we suffer some penalties? Or not? We're gonna wait just a tiny bit more before we switch mobilization law, because I do want to keep the good stuff from both areas. But guess what? What am I gonna spend? Political power once again to delay that even more. So I'm just saving up some extra political power before we switch out everything and suffer the consequences if we forget about anything. So continued protest Balkan integrity, very nice. Turks commit security in Balkans at the same time as Anschluss to Austria. That's a pretty nice story. Germany does aggressive actions, and we're like, don't worry, our destiny awaits. Let's make sure that some more, Balkan nations are ready. So we're going to reform the Balkan Pact.
Yes, into a Balkan Entente. No more Italian and German meddling. We stand against it.
I completely forgot about his OP bonuses right there, so it's actually really, really cheap. I was thinking 150. But as you might see right now, or might see in a second, there we go. Devaluation of the Turkish lira. So, here's the beginning penalty if you have a higher partial mobilization law than civilian economy. This is kind of sad to see.
Yeah,
it is sad to see. Well, we can fight against it. So as you might see, this one suddenly unlocked. So by spending both 75 political power, and we're going to get a reduction in the current political power we are gaining by 14 days. So it's quite a hefty sum you invest right there. So 100, so what am I saying? Not 100. We're spending 82 political power every single time we press this button to delay this crisis by 100 days. Right now, I want to delay it, I think.
I think you do too. Yeah, to sustain etatism and a partial economic mobilization at the same time, that's going to be real good for your
8% right there.
Up your industry. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so, and otherwise, just continue building up our army, make it something proper so people can be proud. And let's see, I guess we're going to begin with 4 divisions at a time, just produced in Istanbul, slowly but steadily gaining up that army. And very soon, in 35 days, we're going to see, are we getting a, pact, are we going to get a Balkan Entente, or are we not? Because they can say no, of course, but with those modifiers, they kind of like us quite a bit. They like us quite a bit. Yeah, we might have to bump up, maybe we should improve relationship right there, just a tiny bit.
No, yours is 100. Your opinion of them is 45. Right. They love you.
Yeah, so people love us, but, except Bulgaria, I guess. Bulgaria and Hungary, they kind of don't.
The second you pan to Bulgarian, it showed the Bulgarian irredentism. Yeah. That's perfect.
We can still make them our friends, but it's after all of the lovely modifiers come in. So it's actually, that's, I think, something brand new for our Heartsfire trees. I can't be 100% sure, though. I'm going to show you very soon.
Oh, no.
Come on. Oh,
okay,
one nation?
You got Greece.
Okay. Come on.
Greece.
Give me Romania.
Bulgaria. Come on, Romania. Come on, Romania.
Yes!
Oh, yes. All right, well, we got... Who needs Yugoslavia?
It's 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. I like that. Yugoslavia is going to die anyway, so... the only bad thing about that is if we don't unite our faction right now. We can still go by boats, of course, but shit, Yugoslavia, why? Why Yugoslavia? God damn it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bulgaria is food, not friends, but now maybe it might be good to try and get the Bulgarians on side since we have to shirk the Yugoslavians.
Wow, you do know you have a quote right now in chat. Who needs Yugoslavia?
Who needs Yugoslavia?
Oh my god. Well, anyway, so this is the kind of thing I was talking about. Like, right now, no new faction, no special thing for really be. It's just a normal faction. But if you continue forward right here, all of these lovely modifiers right here affects everyone in the faction. So if you have a couple of friends that want to go co-op, here you have your co-op nations, except Bulgaria. But, or you can go Bulgaria as well and just have someone else join later. But...
You just put the one friend right there. Like Bulgaria.
What?
You just put the one friend you don't like on Bulgaria. You just ostracize.
Wow. So everyone gets
bully
these
them.
really nice bonuses except Bulgaria.
Yeah, except for Bulgaria, you know. They've
So
got their
right
own
now-
agenda, and it does not align with the Balkan Entente's agenda.
So I think I'm just gonna right now spend these split power since I don't think. Oh wait, we should probably start fighting against this. Let's entrench in Kermelis right there. Let's do it in Ankara. That's a really good state. We get a lovely modifier of 15% more recruit population, local construction speed. So it's a great state to have this in.
It is.
And let's see, we have 9 factories. Oh god, we're 11. I mean, that was a bit weird, but sure. I think soon enough, like we're gonna build an infrastructure highway, something like this. But to begin with, well, not right now. God damn it, not right now. Shit. Because we have both these states, just increasing the resource right there is fantastic.
Yes.
Let's actually just do it a tiny bit. Let's do it to 6 to both of these. There we go. And let's do it every other military factory right there. That's usually pretty good. That's if I need to build something I'm not 100% sure I really need. I should do it like every other of the thing I really want. Actually, maybe we could just, for a quick second, ask our dear streaming host that if they could somehow increase the, like, just voice lines, increase the sounds from the game. We'll just be quiet for a while and people can hear the different voice lines for Turkey. I saw some question about popping up.
I saw a great deal about the music as well for Battle for Bosporus. Maybe we could play a track or two?
Yeah.
Emirleriniz? Emriniz yok mu? Baş üstüne efendim. Burayı dinle.
And yeah, they will have to handle the music from their side.
Yeah.
Okay,
And just to clarify, every country in the pact has voice lines. So Greece, Bulgaria, Turkey, all their soldiers get voice lines. So
one thing I gotta say, from Greece, I was like, that gives me so many flashbacks from Age of Mythology. I'm like, holy shit.
yeah. I'm a little
but-
too young for Age of Mythology myself. You know, that was a little before my time.
Right, you're actually younger than me. Gosh, I'm an old man now. I started these
Yeah.
streams when I was 19.
Yeah.
I got so many comments that I looked like 15. That was so nice. Let's see. So Balkan Defense Council right over there. So I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid sometimes.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what I thought right there. You're always supposed to go down. Well, always, in my opinion, always supposed to go down the right path right to begin with. Industrial plan, Treaty of Prosperity and Trade. You do both of them, and then slowly, sometime around there, you cancel the antithesis, and so you don't spend too much political power right there.
Yeah.
Boost the industry first, build with it, and then you cancel it, and then you finish off the rest of. God, we're gonna entrench some more Caramelis in the States, and we are gonna initiate some counter-fundamentalist charge right there. And oh wow!
Oh yeah, see that? Yeah, so
5%
sometimes
shot right there.
that's right. So
5%
you can
shot.
all of these negative modifiers can be reduced to a point where they actually benefit you. So now even these fundamentalist states that were really kind of worked against you, you can get them to a point where they actually are good for you. They boost your construction speed by a solid 5%. I mean, it's not world changing, but I mean, yeah, it's sort of like
something.
it's recompense from not getting the full utility out of these states.
So right now you might actually see that I am actually trading for this. Well, you are seeing that I'm actually trading for stuff rather than just changing my trading law, because right now I enjoy getting factories from people. Since we're already going right here, let's just get that consumer goods reduction right there to kind of counteract the it seems we had to remove a bit early, and then let's go down right there and connect our capital. So this is actually a very interesting thing, just because, well, people are in a faction, well, they're gonna get the infrastructure. Super nice.
Yeah.
And
It
depending
shares
on if
with-
they've spent it themselves, they get a double bonus.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Romania has actually done its own infrastructure bonus. So if Romania, and this applies to Yugoslavia too, any country that does like its dedicated infrastructure focus, it'll actually buff the next focus. And there's a lot of this interconnectivity in the Balkan Pact branch, where, for example, if Greece has gone down its financial responsibility path, the central bank will be even more powerful. So there's a good little bit of interactability between these trees, and like Daniel said, makes it a great path if you're doing a co-op with a group of friends.
Let's go down right here. Assess our future. The legacy of
That's
Ataturk.
right. So you're going to, with Ataturk at the helm, you are going to judge just how well you are living up to the will and wishes of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk for the Turkish state.
I
So
think
we've got our
fine
peace
right
at
now.
home. Yeah, it's going to be all right. You've sort of you've maintained the status quo, so it's not going to be the best version of the the spirit, but it's going to be serviceable.
0.05 blip power and 5% stability. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad. No. Do I just click on the HoI state and we can confirm for everybody? It's in Syria. That's that little one right there. Yeah, there you go. See, it's a whole new state, guys. And Turkey does start with a core on it. So
A whole
even
new
if-
state.
even if France says no, it doesn't mean you're gonna get shirked with a claim. It's still gonna be a core.
Oh, there we go. Germany joining right there.
Oh no!
Things
the
in the
Soviet
world
Union.
are getting more tensioned, but the Balkan can't stand strong.
We trusted them though. We trusted the Soviet Union. They've turned our back on us and aligned with the fascist menace.
Assess our future.
Today,
High issue.
let's do it. And we're pretty well. Well, we're about a year behind, but we're pretty well on schedule, kind of, for it.
Pretty well, kind of.
Pretty well,
And yeah,
kind of.
There we
got
go.
like
The
20
tiny bonus right there. Kind of nice. And right now we're gaining 1.56 blue power a month. I very much like that. We are gonna do. Let's see. I think a bit more nationalist. I want a tiny bit higher with war sport, and we're gonna initiate some more fundamentals. Oh my god, we got that one again.
Ooh, right there in Mersin. Yeah, so that'll be really good if you go down your armed forces branch, because there's a focus that kind of buffs up Mersin.
Come on, let's get this finished. 1 minute left. 1 minute
We can
left.
do it. We can do it.
Come
Oh,
on.
go faster! Come on. We could do it. Oh, imagine if France rejects it at the end.
That's gonna be so funny. I
France
almost
like,
hope
no.
they're gonna reject it.
No.
Poland refused
Uh-oh.
Germany to Malta. Come on. They might refuse it just because now. When it will happen. Oh, come on.
Uh-oh,
Just
we might be
accept it.
demanding it off of Vichy France. Uh-oh.
No, well, that would be a terrible playthrough from France. Oh.
Hey,
Once again, want to join the
Yugoslavia!
pact.
They won in
Welcome pact
after all.
right there.
They won in after all.
Shut
Oh,
up,
Chamberlain
Peter.
is chirping in my ear.
Yeah.
All 3 days. Here we
Seems
go.
like we need to end it right now. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
We're gonna
boo,
go about like 10
boo.
seconds. So 1 hour left. Speed 1.
Oh.
The tension is growing. And give us our land back.
Do we get it? Do we get it? Do we get it?
Come on. Okay, let's go a bit faster. Let's not harass the chat anymore. And there we go. Huzzah!
Come on, guys. Pog, give a pog. That's a pog champ. We got Hate. Yeah, that's
Very nice, very nice. And I think that's a perfect ending right there. World is brewing. World War II has begun. World War II has begun. The Balkan Entente stands strong with your new friend Yugoslavia. But
look at that.
remember,
No,
they didn't join before, so no bonuses for them.
yeah, sucks in for them. But we are way better than the Allies. That's undeniable.
We're not gonna fall at all. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this first look at Battle for the Bosporus. Thank you, Busby, for joining us right here. I think you're gonna be back, well, relatively soon with some Greece gameplay.
I think so.
Until that, I hope you enjoyed this first look at Battle for the Bosporus, and I'll see you all next time.